Okay, so today's topic is ask for help, and everyone collectively cringed.
Not good at that.
I know, ask the two non-experts who think we can literally do everything by ourselves and we don't
Literally,
need anybody.
your Enneagram 3
Um,
over here saying she can do anything and everything and doesn't need any help and only wants to do it so that she can get validation from other people.
and see, mine is the total opposite to where I'm like, it's just quicker and easier for me to do it myself.
Mm.
But
I mean,
anyways,
I feel that way
so
too.
I'm like, it's just quicker and easier for me to do it. Um, Also, I like don't want anybody else to be inconvenienced. Um, I don't want to bother anyone. Um, like it's not natural for me to be needy or ask for help. So,
Yeah.
anyways, whatever.
Mm.
So I was telling like in that I don't want to exploit this or anything. Like I do want to be very gracious and respectful, but going um I was going somewhere and I just parked in the parking lot. I'd gotten there. I was going to run inside and do a few things. And I just pulled into the parking lot and looked down at my phone because I was waiting for the store to open. And I hear this loud crash. It
Mm.
scared me. Like I did not know what had happened. It was just loud. Well, someone had a wreck in front of the store. I mean, if I had been 5 seconds later, it would have been me that had crashed into this person. But
Oh
I
gosh.
mean, everybody started running towards the middle of the road, just to like
Yeah.
check on everybody.
Offer help.
And I mean, me too. I know I was like, there's no way I'm not going to run over there. I mean, it's just like a second nature, just run
It's
towards
like
people who need help.
instinct. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was
instinct.
like, I've got to go. And so I was calling 911 and everything ended up being fine. I hope the person that was involved, both of them, got checked out at the hospital. And I was praying for them that both would just be at peace that, their cars can be replaced. And so there was no like blood. It was not anything crazy.
Yeah.
It was just a collision
Fender bender thing.
turning in. Yeah, yeah. But it was the one person was shaken up and, I was telling like, and I was like, the knee-jerk reaction in those cases is to call for help. Like, why wouldn't you?
Hmm.
I mean, there's a situation where people are not okay, something's wrong, something's
Yeah.
happened. And what if we just kind of just sat around saying, you know what, I can do this myself. I'll be fine. Like, I'm not gonna call for help. No, like the default is to look for the helpers. That's what Daniel Tiger says. If anybody ever watches Daniel Tiger, like
Oh,
after
yes.
any sort of like bad thing
Look for
that's
the helpers.
happened,
Yeah.
look for the helpers. And so I was like, Lakin, why don't we do that in everyday situations? Good, bad,
Mm.
big, small. Just why can't we ask for help? Welcome to the You Are More podcast. I'm Blaine Ledbetter.
And I'm Lakin Stewart. If you're looking for an authentic community that shares the truth of the gospel and the truth about life, you've come to the right place.
We believe that you are more. You're more than motherhood, more than your ministry, and more than your career. Grab a cup of coffee and listen in to hear the truth about what it means to find your identity in Christ through every season of life.
Welcome to the You Are More podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the You Are More podcast. Today we are talking about probably one of the hardest things for Blaine and I to do, and that's asking for help. If you are like us, you want to do it all yourself. You think you can do it better than anyone else who offers you
Mm-hmm.
help. You want to be seen as being do it all mom, wife, friend,
Yep.
all the things. And as we heard earlier in Blaine's story, when we as humans or, people in general are in a situation of crisis, our knee-jerk reaction is to ask for help. And so
Yep.
today we're just going to talk about how we have learned to approach asking for help in a healthy way. Um, and the moral of the story is at some point, we all are going to need help. So,
Yeah.
whether that's, help with someone taking your groceries out to your car when your kids are screaming, or help when, you've experienced a tragic loss in your family, or help when you don't have a pencil and you're at work and you need a pencil. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
from little things to big things, like big life altering things.
Yeah.
Everybody needs help at some point. And how do we humble ourselves, speaking to me specifically, to lay down our pride and ask for help? So, Blaine, tell me a time when you were so stubborn that you just refused to ask for help. And what was the outcome? What would you have done differently? What would have been the thing that would have helped you?
Um, yeah. So right off the bat, the biggest thing I'm thinking of is like postpartum, especially
Yes,
with my
that's what my
first.
mind goes to. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's this cultural expectation to
Mm.
bounce back and to just learn
Yeah.
to do it all. They send you home from the hospital with a baby and you're like,
And
what do
then
I do
6
with
weeks
this thing?
later, they all clear you for,
For
everything.
everything. Everything under the sun and you're like, I'm still what? I just had a baby yesterday and of course it's been 6 weeks, but um not asking for help to for me personally has always been detrimental. Postpartum, I've just been like, for my first. Now, I felt like I got better with each baby, but
Mm.
even with my doula clients, I'm like, you line up your helpers like right now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know you're 5 months pregnant. Line up the helpers.
Because you don't know what could
Schedule
happen
people to
between
live
now and
with
the
you.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I just, it wasn't even, I think that we're scared to like let people that know that we need something. And I'm like, the most like transformative time of your entire life, if you're not a mother and are becoming one, is postpartum because you
Mm.
literally just ran 5 marathons and did 3,000 sit-ups when you birthed the baby. But now your sole responsibility
Keeping the
postpartum
baby alive.
is keep the baby alive. I mean, just and
Mm.
yourself. And so I just wish that I had known, like, not only is it okay to ask for help, but to be very specific about what you need because there are people who want to help you, especially
Mm.
postpartum. But if you don't vocalize what you need
Nobody's
and they
gonna
just
know.
come in, yeah, I mean, it
Like
could
that
be that you
meme that
need,
floats around. What is
yeah,
it?
I mean,
Nobody's gonna know. Yeah.
nobody's gonna know, but like tell people what you need. And I don't know why we are so scared to do that because so what if we're seen as needy? And two, I tell my postpartum like doula clients as well. I'm like, listen, write a list of quote unquote chores for people to do so that
Mm.
they don't even have to ask you. If they come to see the baby and they're like, what can I do while I'm here? If you're the one that wants to do the laundry, which I highly advise
Don't
against,
recommend. Don't do that.
yeah. But if there are certain things that you're like, I would rather people not do that, okay, well then tell them, say, I don't want you to do this, but if you could do this, that'd be great. Um, just if people offer anything, accept it, even if it's something that maybe down the road will inconvenience you, like just take it. Like
Oh
I
yeah, for
hate that
sure.
it took me three
So long.
births to
Yeah.
learn that. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, so pass the ball to you, Lakin. How are you
Yeah.
feeling about that?
I,
What's a time?
mine is truthfully like the exact same. Like after we had our first baby, we lived really, really far from family. I'm talking like 20 plus hour drive.
Mhm.
And so my mom wasn't with me for the birth of our first baby. She came a week later. And she stayed with us for 3 weeks, which is a long time, but it was like truly a blessing to have her there.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yes.
something that
That's
I think
awesome.
about often is, dang, I did not ask my mom one time for help. Not one time. And I think about that now and it makes me want to cry. Like
Yeah.
she was there for 3 weeks and not one time did I ask her for help, like with the
Yeah.
baby, with anything. And my mom just did things because she knew that I needed the
You knew
help.
what you needed. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just like, I refuse to sit there and be like, hey, mom, can you help me with this, this, and this? Or like, hey, mom, can you help me change a diaper? Hey, mom, can you know, talk to me while I'm trying to nurse my baby? I just like,
Hmm.
I think I was so caught up in you have to do this all by yourself. Like you
Yeah.
don't need anyone. Like, and so that's like one moment. And I know that my mom listens to our podcast. So mom, I know you're listening. And I just want to say thank you for being there and doing the things that I refuse to ask for help for.
Yeah.
And so that's one example of just for me surrendering. Like I have to do a deep surrender of myself to like let other people in to help. Like
Yeah.
it is so hard for me. And I think that's because I love to control things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love being in control. I want to know what's happening, when it's happening, why it's happening, what for. And
Yeah.
I want to be in control of the situation. And even with our second baby, my mom came to watch Charlotte while Lila was being born. Um, and that was like amazing. And like there was after Lila was born, we came home from the hospital and I had like a spinal headache.
Oh
We had to go
gosh.
back and do I forget what they call it, but a like blood tap or something where they like
Oh
take blood from
gosh.
your spine and put it back into your arm. And this was like 2 days after she was born. And my mom was like, you go. I've got Charlotte. Like, you guys go do whatever you need to do. Cause we had just gotten home and we had to haul the baby all the way back up because I literally could
Mm.
not sit up straight because my head was hurting so bad. So, anyway,
Oh
all
my
that to say,
gosh.
like, I do think I've been better about asking for help. Um,
Hmm.
but sometimes and I don't know if you're this way, Blaine, but when I'm asking for help, I feel like it opens up the door to unsolicited advice. And that I have a really hard time with. Um,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like like, hey, can you help me with this? And then someone goes, well, here's a better way to do that when really you don't want to do it any other way than the way you intended. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of where
That's one of
I
those
land.
control
It
things.
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it is. It was one of those control things. I have also just honestly twofold. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I wouldn't have done it that way, but I'm glad that you did it because it was helpful that it even got completed.
I know.
And so then I also tell him, like, hey, 2 + 2 is 4, but also 1 + 3 is 4. And
Mhm.
so we get the same outcome. So I've definitely had to release control from that and
Mhm.
just been like, it's almost like a pick my control battles
Mhm.
kind of thing of like, ooh, this has to be done this way. Like at work, most things do have to be done a
Done a
certain
certain
way.
way. Yeah, yeah.
But
But if
at
they're
the same
not,
time, I'm like, hey, as
if
long
you
as
have
you
a
get the same
better,
outcome,
yeah,
I'm fine.
work
Yes,
smarter, not
please do.
harder. Yeah.
But I really think that this is something that we're literally born with because I know that you can resonate with this, but how many times have your kids done something and you're like, can you please just ask for help?
Yeah. Every single day.
And there
Every
there
single day.
is zero help because we are born with the mindset of I can do it by myself. And I'm
Mhm.
like, every time I tell my child, can you just ask for help? Like,
Can
I
you
will
put your
help you.
shoes on
Yeah,
with
can
my
you just
help?
please ask for help? And as soon as the word comes out of my mouth, I'm like, that's probably how God,
Looks at
looks at me
me.
and is like, can you please just ask me for help? Like, I'm here. I'm your helper. Literally, you know, I've sent the Holy Spirit to be your helper. Why can't you take advantage?
I
It's
know.
like, please take advantage of these services. It's all in one. It's a 3-for-1
It's
deal.
yeah.
Get the Holy Spirit. I mean, come on, that's some deep
Oh
theology. Don't
man,
tell
that
y'all's
really is.
pastors.
I mean, for real. I know there was this was actually before Charlotte was born. I went into preterm labor at like 33. 4 weeks.
Hmm.
And it was stopped because then she stayed in another 5. But we had this friend who lived like right next to us where we lived in Texas before we lived in the dorm. He was like our next door neighbor. He and his wife became our really, really good friends. And he and his wife were like on call for when we went in to take care of our dog because we had a dog at the time. We no longer have
Yeah,
said
yeah.
dog, but we
Yeah,
were
but you did.
we did. And we went to the hospital and we called them and we're like, hey, can you just go let Tito out? And then he calls us back like 2 hours later and is like, I let your dog out, I did your laundry, I folded it, I left it on your bed, I made up your bed, I vacuumed your house. And we're like, hold the phone, you did our laundry? Like this. I mean, they're one of our best friends, but like just the thought of someone else folding my underwear was
Do
like
not know.
mortifying.
That's where people go. I know. I know. Yep.
I was like,
Yeah.
I cannot. But truthfully, it was like the best thing to come home to like a clean house and laundry done, and because I had to sit on my
That's
butt for
a
the next 5 weeks.
blessing.
So yeah.
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 Um, uh, it's like we think that we will both get a prize for doing it ourselves and
Oh,
never asking for help.
100%.
And also, it's as if we think that we're going to be shamed or
A
like,
burden.
yeah,
Like
that we're
you are not
gonna,
a burden for asking for help.
no,
Yeah.
never. I have a friend who literally every week I'll tell her something I'm doing. She's like, "Oh, that sounds great. How can I help you?" And I'm like, first of all, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to friendships,
First of all,
people
I don't need
asking
your help. That's what I would
for help.
say.
I'm like, I don't like
Oh
why are
man.
you asking to help me? But that is where her mind goes, is like, how can I help my friends?
Mm,
Now I don't know that she asks for help often, but I think what we can all challenge ourselves to do this next week is, which we'll talk more, but like be the first to help somebody and
yeah.
just say, give it to me. Like, please let me help. I know I've texted you before and been like, if there's anything you don't want to do at work, just
Oh yeah.
send it my way or whatever.
And I've definitely taken
Because it
advantage.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't inconvenience, the person asking you to help is not,
They're
if
asking
they
because
didn't
they
want to help,
genuinely want to.
yeah,
Yeah.
if they didn't want to help, they
They
would
wouldn't ask.
just be like, good luck, go with God, see you
I'm
later,
praying for you. Yeah. I know. I feel
My,
like
yeah,
I don't adopt the things that I practice like in my life. Like I I feel like I am one that is always for example, there's a new mom whose husband works on staff and she's about to go back to work 7 weeks postpartum on
yeah,
Wednesday. And
oh,
I was like,
bless
girl,
her.
and her husband is the worship pastor and he has like rehearsals late Wednesday and I was like, how can I help you on Wednesday? Like I know you're going back on Wednesday.
Yeah,
And she was like, you
that's
don't have to
huge.
help me with anything. And I was like, I'm going to bring you dinner. Tell me what you want and I'll
Yeah.
stay as long as you need. Like seriously, like I have it blocked off on my calendar. I've talked to Cody about it. And she was like, it would actually be really helpful if you came and just like sat with me on Wednesday because night times are the hardest and her husband wouldn't be home
Oh,
until
yeah.
late. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
thank you for telling me that you need that because I will be there. Like, but I
I
have
mean,
such a hard
it's
time. Like,
yes,
it's
yes.
so hard and humbling. Like, I feel like there's this culture of, man, I have to do something to now repay this debt. When nine
Hmm.
times out of 10, that's if someone is asking you if you need help, they're not looking to help you to then get something in return. And if they are,
No,
they're not helping you for the right reasons.
no, don't be their friend. If they
Yeah,
expect anything in return, please don't be their friend.
please stop talking to them. Pray for them and
That's
move on.
not a good relationship.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I remember I like refused to have someone set up a meal train for us after we had Charlotte. I was like, we don't need it. My mom's in town for 3 weeks. And
Oh gosh.
my best friend Amanda was like, you're insane. When you go back to work, we're getting you 4 weeks of meal play. Like someone's going to bring you a meal 3 times a week for
Hmm.
4 weeks when you go back to work. Cause I went back to work 9 weeks after I had Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'll be fine. I don't need it. And then they like her and a group of some of my friends from our small group were like, we've set it up. Here's your whole lunch every day for your first week back. Here's like a little care package for you. And I was like, thank you guys. I didn't know I needed this, like just
That's it too. You don't know that you need it
it's true.
until you've received the help and you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, asking for help should not be our like, I'm drowning. Oh, sorry. I'm drowning and where's the life vest? Like, throw it to me. I'm
Where's the
drowning. It
buoy?
should
Yeah.
be, I'm going to put on this life vest before I jump in the water to do all the things that I need to do, not
Yeah.
a last ditch effort to like, but I feel like we only ask for help when we're in crisis.
Yeah. Like
But
how
Andrew
do
and I,
we Oh, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, like, every week we kind of do a check-in, like a marriage check-in. And so this can definitely be applicable to parents, single parents, people who are not married, people in college, just kind of taking inventory of your week and just looking
Mhm.
at, okay, I'll just say, for example, tomorrow, um, we've got a lot to do tomorrow randomly. It's a very busy Monday. I don't know. That's how the cards fell.
Yeah.
But just he will always ask me how can I help you this week? How can I serve you this week? Because that's the thing too. Helping people is actually serving them. And I mean, there is like literally no greater honor than to serve
Mm.
someone.
Oh yeah.
However, you if you don't give people an opportunity to serve you, how are they ever going to be the hands and feet of Jesus? But um we'll check in with both, just and sometimes he'll say, okay, Wednesday's busy and I really need to do this. And I'm like, okay, I've got it. Like I'm doing this for
You
you,
got
so
all
take
of
it
it.
off your
Yeah.
to-do list. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it could be that like my Wednesday is not crazy and the girls and I have more time to do something. So why would he not let me step
Help.
into his
Yeah.
world and help with that? If you're in college and you've got a job and you've got homework and you've got classes and also you need to um I don't know, get groceries for your apartment or
Do
take
laundry.
something by the
Yeah.
post office, laundry, something like that. Just like reaching out to a friend or your family and saying, hey, can I drop my laundry by and you do it? I'm so sorry. This week is super busy. They're probably going to
Probably
be
gonna say
so
yes.
honored that you
Yeah.
even ask.
That
Um,
you trust them with your underwear.
Oh, if my kids, when they're 20 something and they ask, hey,
Yeah.
can I bring my laundry by? It's a busy week.
Heck
I'm gonna
yeah.
be like, I will cry while I do it because I miss you so
I
much and
miss
love
your
you so
laundry.
much, but please do it.
That's it.
But yeah, and I mean, even, single, if you're single, not married, you live with a roommate, whatever, just kind of take an inventory of your week. And I can tell you, people in your church, in your small group, at work, if you're bombarded with just so much to do, just saying, like, hey, can I bring this by your desk this week?
Yeah.
And please take care of this. Or, like, a lot of times, this is so random. My mom knows that we'll come to, like, close to her work, and
Yeah.
she'll say, if you're going back home, can you just drop these off by the post office? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going that way anyways. Why would you not ask me to do that?
Yeah.
And so it's just looking for every opportunity to serve other people, but then allowing them to serve you
Yeah.
by helping you with things that you need. But I also know that that takes a lot of humility
It
and a
really
lot
does.
of taking up your cross, like dying to yourself.
Mhm.
And
On either
it's,
side, on either side. It really does.
yeah,
Like if
it's
you're being the
it's not
helper,
natural.
yeah,
Mhm.
or if you're being the helped, like it's really a humbling sacrifice of self either way. And I think there is no greater need for help than when you are going through something that is devastating or like just truly trying on your life, your kids, your marriage. Like there is no other
Mhm.
like greater need or time for you to ask for help than in those moments. I remember when we were going through the ringer in Virginia,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know who to ask for help. And I would like reach out to you or like another gal from work who I was close to and like some friends from Texas and be like, y'all, I just need you to pray for me. I don't know how you can help me, but I need you
Hmm.
to talk me off the ledge because I'm about there. And like when we moved, like I had a really hard time with just letting people bring a meal by after we moved to
Yeah.
Illinois. I was like, these people don't know me. Like they're gonna think that I'm just incompetent because I can't move and cook a meal at the same time. And
No,
no, it was like
it's
such a
should be
blessing
normal.
to have it, to like have
Yeah.
someone bring by meals right after we moved. Like it made us feel so loved and welcomed here. And like, um, it just always makes me think like, how can I, pay it forward or like return the favor? Not because it was a debt that I needed to pay, but because like if someone does something that truly helps you and you're able to down the road, like help someone else or help
Yeah.
them,
It doesn't
like
even have to be a repayment to them.
no, it's not transactional at all.
Yeah, especially like in our church. I know Andrew always will reach out and sometimes not even ask. He's just like, "Hey, I'm coming to mow your yard because you don't have a husband," or
Yeah.
like there's not just someone in your family who's just going to do that. I'm going to send somebody over to mow your yard, or um hey, I'm going to bring you groceries back because you just had surgery. Hey, we're
Mm.
bringing a meal because you had a death in the family. It's not even an ask anymore.
It's just that you
This is
do.
what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when the snow and ice came through
Two
last
weeks
week,
ago.
week before last, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we could not leave our home. We don't have vehicles to get out of our neighborhood. And our neighbor so graciously was like, hey, he's out of town for work and his trucks are both here and they both have four-wheel drive. If you need them, here they are. And I was like,
We can get
we've got to
food.
take. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, we're taking advantage, or not even taking advantage, but like we are
Taking her
definitely
up on
taking
the
them up
offer.
on us.
Yeah.
Yes. And not feeling shame about it. I think there's
Yeah.
something about asking for help that the enemy tries to shame us, um, that we're weak. But I mean, aren't we all? Like
Yeah.
in his weakness, his power is made perfect in our weakness. So like the point is that we are weak and we need help literally every day. So that's what I keep going back to.
I know. Um, yeah, I've been thinking just through like the acts of service that Jesus did in like not only helping, but like ministering and serving. Like he came not to be served, but to serve. And I think that's just the other side of the coin of when like you asking for help when you desperately need it. And even
Hmm.
before you get to that point of desperation, but also just laying down your own selfishness and, being the hands and feet of Jesus when it's time. Um,
Yeah.
and,
Well, I don't know what, I hope this is relevant, but I was
yeah.
just listening to the Bible in a year last week, and it was a story in one of the Gospels, I think Matthew.
Hmm.
But about the paralytic whose friends helped him down through the roof.
Hmm.
What if he had never told them,
Yeah.
I can't walk, I can't get up out of my bed? What if
Mm-mm.
they had never helped him through the roof? I mean, that's a miracle that we all would have missed reading
Oh, I
about.
know.
It's a miracle. Jesus, I mean, I'm like, he was healed because of the action and faith of his friends that, you know, I, I'm like, what was the conversation in his house
I
that day
know.
of like,
I would love to have been a fly on
hey,
the wall. Like,
yeah, hey,
hey, I'm a little paralyzed.
yeah, I'm just can't walk at all.
Yeah.
Which one, do
Can
you
you
think you can? I heard this guy's in town.
can you
I don't
put me through
know.
the
Can
roof?
he do something?
Yeah.
Like, or
No,
did they barge in and say, "Get up, we're
we're
going."
gonna help
Like,
you. Yeah.
get in, loser, we're going shopping.
Which is
Like,
almost,
we're
I know,
going.
which is almost loser for going shopping. No, which is almost like selfishly, that's what I need when like I need someone like I think I'm the type of person. Like, I need someone to see me in my struggle and be like, here's what I'm going to do to help you. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes, like, I can't even think what would be helpful. Or like when my husband is like, what can I help you with? And I'm like, can you not see that everything is on fire around here?
hmm
Like, can
hmm
you just pick something? That's what
That's why
I struggle with.
I started making a to-do list. That way I know what has to be done. So if he does ever
Smart.
ask, I'm like, guess what? It's on my list.
It's on my list.
Um,
Check something off.
but I think we definitely have to move away from the whole like, hey guys, praying for y'all. Let me know what I can do to help. So
Oh,
first of all,
saying that,
prayer in and of itself, if that's the only thing you can do to help me, is to pray for the situation, but especially in times of like crisis,
mm,
devastation, loss, something huge, like saying, let me know how I can help.
puts the burden
I
back
don't
on the
know
person.
because
Yeah.
my frame of like reference, my state of mind is just probably sadness, grief, trauma, something. But just jumping in to say, hey, we're bringing y'all food,
I'm gonna
or
do this. Yeah.
yeah, let me go pick up your kids from school, or hey, right after school, drop your kids off to me. And don't ask any questions, just leave them here, and
We got it. Yeah.
I'll see you in 4 hours. Go be by yourself. Um, just trying to think of ways like, and don't be afraid to ask if that would be helpful. Um, I know that there was a situation a few months ago, but had a friend text like in a group of like, hey, um, you can either choose one of three things, I think, but gave very clear options.
Of ways to help.
Yes, of like, hey, um, I know that you're in need and I know that you need help. Here are three options that I can give you. What do you want me to do? Pick from those three. So immediately it gives them some sense of control and like
Mm,
choosing what they need, because it's like either way I'm doing one of these three things, so I would rather you pick to let me know like what's the most helpful, and
yeah.
then that way you don't even have to like think about it. So
Yeah.
if you're thinking, so like what's some ways, let's just go through each of our three facets. I don't know,
Yeah.
the motherhood, think of what are some ways that if our listeners wanted to help a new mom,
Mm.
what could they do to
The
help?
three things that come to mind for me are bring a meal, clean their
Mhm.
house, or do their laundry. Like,
Yes.
um, those are three things. Or do like grocery pickup, like
hmm
go get them some groceries. Um, because as a new mom, you don't want to leave your house. You don't want to stand up to clean your house. You want to
Yeah.
literally hold your baby all day, every day, and not put them down.
Or even, hey, I'm coming over. Do you want me to bring a meal and stay? Do you want me to bring a meal
Meal
and
and
leave? Or
go.
do you want me to bring a meal and hold the baby while you get a shower and a nap? Like,
Yeah.
I would, I mean,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And that's not hurtful to that person who you're telling, hey, I would rather you just get a meal, bring me a meal and leave.
That's
Great.
what you need.
Because I
Yeah.
don't want to
Because
be a
then I
burden
don't
to
want to be a
you.
burden. I
Yeah,
don't want my help to be a burden. I want it to be a
ever.
blessing. Yeah.
Or,
And I think
hey, can I come pick up the oldest sibling and they can come home with us and just, we're going to the park and you
have a
can
fun
be
time.
by yourself with the baby. Y'all can sleep.
Yeah.
Um, so what about, let's see, motherhood ministry? If someone were to say, hey, what do you need help with in ministry, but we're talking specifically like someone whose job is actually like vocational ministry.
I don't know, Blaine. What do you, to me, it's
I,
help with my kids so that I can be there for my husband. Like that's
yeah,
number
yeah,
one for me.
that same. On Sunday mornings, we do a coffee and conversation, kind of like small group. Andrew
Mm.
called it Sunday school today. I was like,
Ooh,
not Sunday school. Because we
going
don't even
back
do a
to
study. It's like conversation.
1985.
uh, but like this, one of my friends keeps my kids during that. And that's how
Okay,
she
that's
can
great.
serve us. She's like,
Yeah.
Yep, I got the kids. I love them so much.
Oh yeah.
Um, for us, it's like the things to do that we've been putting off that needs to be done at the church. Like, for example, we have a like foster care ministry, and there were some boxes piled up outside. And again, one of my friends was like, "Hey, is there anything I can do at the church? I'm going to be up there with the girls." And I said, "Actually, there are a few boxes. If you can just sort through those, that would be the biggest help because
Yep.
otherwise I'm going to have to do it." But yeah, and I feel like in ministry, it's more so Andrew has stuff to do. And so I'm like, there are not a ton of things that I have to do throughout the week, but it's him.
Yeah.
uh, Especially in the summers, he needs people to mow the yard and all that at the church.
Yeah.
Um,
What about for work, Blaine? How do you I feel like it's
um,
niche to each of our individual jobs and what we do.
right. I'm trying to think of like workplace as a whole.
Oh yeah,
Um,
workplace as a whole.
I like to do, I like to be the first to, tell my team in particular, hey, I'll cover for you if you want to take off work. 100%. And I know that is pretty specific to a department, but even when I was not working remotely, my coworkers at the clinic, if they ever took off or if I took off, it was like, yeah, move all your patients over to me. I'll be glad to cover for you.
Yeah.
Like, or if you need to leave early or, just being the first to see, how can I meet your need? And also, if there's a task that I know our boss says it all the time. He's like, if you don't like doing that, find
If it
somebody
doesn't make
else
you
who
happy,
does.
yeah. If it
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
make you
like, if
happy,
this
get
doesn't bring
someone
you joy,
else. Yeah. Which is
which
hard.
it is. I'm like, no, there are just some things that I just honestly need to
Have
take
to
care
do.
of.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. But I have tried to be more self-aware of things that I don't enjoy doing.
Same.
There was a position that I took,
Oh, I remember
probably like a year
this.
and a half ago,
And you were
and I was like,
miserable.
I will take this until we get somebody else. And we did end up hiring somebody else.
And
But
now the position doesn't even exist.
no, it doesn't. And I had to wave the white flag eventually. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
seeing a need that our whole team, I'm going to fill this. But then when it started getting crazy, I was like, I don't like this anymore.
Yep.
I do not enjoy my job anymore. And thankfully, we have a great team who was like, great, we're going to hire somebody else.
Perfect.
And I was like,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Um, so just being aware of what's going on too, with people's lives and really like, gosh, even just saying to coworkers, like, depending on your work and your situation, how can I pray for you this week? If I can't do anything else, um, what do you need me to pray for you? Because then you'll find that people are going to start coming to you
Yeah.
even without you asking.
Oh
You're going to
yeah.
be their like prayer
Go-to
person.
person. Yeah. I think in all of this, I'm really brought back to what it says in Galatians 6. It says, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. And essentially, when you are asking someone to help bear your burden, you're basically giving them an opportunity to serve God and share Christ's love with you. And I think that's just
Yeah.
like a beautiful representation of the gospel. Like you are inviting someone in to
Yeah.
share in the love of Christ. And when you are offering that help, you are, serving God by serving them. And so viewing all
Mhm.
of that through, bearing one another's burdens and fulfilling Christ's call on our life. And whether you're
Oh, yeah.
receiving that help or extending that help, it's just a beautiful way to look at, you know, getting help and giving out help. So just
Yeah.
I love that view of the gospel in just the act of helping. So
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all sinners in need of a savior and we can't do anything on our own. We're
nope.
gonna have, I mean,
As much as I wish
we,
I could,
yeah,
you know. Yeah.
you are not called to be a sacrificial lamb or anything.
No.
Like you don't have to like I don't know. You die to yourself daily, but you're not called to just wear yourself out, never ask anybody for help, just be
Hmm.
needy. So that's yeah,
It's
good combo.
a hard thing to ask for help, and it can also be hard to give help if that's not your first inclination. So,
I know some
we,
people do have a hard time with that.
yeah,
Practice in little small steps.
yeah,
Think about how you need help and just go and do that for other people.
yeah. I love it. Well, if you found today's conversation helpful, be on the lookout for more in the coming weeks as Blaine and I are excited to share what's on the horizon. And sometime soon, we're going to be doing a survey on Instagram to kind of hear from you guys on what you want to hear about. Um, because we have lots to share, but no expertise. So we're just here to chat and hopefully encourage
Yep.
someone in their day to day. If you're liking what you're hearing, go ahead and click subscribe and click the bell so you get notifications for all of our new episodes and
Mhm.
give us a follow on Instagram at You Are More Pod. And just know that you are more.